What is up, Sports Geeks? It's your host, Joshua, back with another episode and another mock draft. Today, I'm joined by Alec. We are back virtual. Alec, how you doing, though, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad. I shouldn't even say not too bad. I'm doing great, dude. It is, technically, 3 days till draft now?
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm counting down the hours, dude. But we got another mock draft here, and there's been a lot of stuff that has changed since the last time we recorded one. So I will give you all of the odd picks. I'll take the even picks, and I'll let you go ahead and get started right away.
Okay, so I'm gonna kind of choose mine off what I would do, but also what I think will happen. Should we just do like what we think will happen? I think that'll be a
Yeah.
little more.
Yep. Let's
Yeah.
do what you think will happen.
Okay. So number one, I think Bryce. The last time I checked, Bryce Young is minus 1,600 to go one. Um, I think he goes one. So yeah, let's just make this easy. Bryce Young one.
This is the one pick that's gonna
Yep.
be easy all day. Um, Here's where things get spicy because CJ Stroud has been all the way up until this past week the right in top two pick, right?
Yeah.
And now this S2 test comes out that he's. So for those of you that don't know, the S2 test is this basically IQ test that originally was used with the MLB to basically interpret how quickly hitters are able to like think on the fly and make correct decisions. It's been used for the draft, I think, the last like 6 or 7 years, and so nobody that has scored under a 75 has done well in the NFL. No quarterback. Now there have been people that score higher than 75 that do poorly, right? But there's nobody that's been bad at this test and that's
Yeah.
been good in the NFL. CJ Stroud supposedly scored an 18 on this test. So not
Yeah.
only is he below 75, that is like you don't have any clue what you're doing on this.
Well, that's like it's kind of like when you hear somebody and you ask them what they got in the ACT and they say a 12.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a red flag.
Yeah, I mean, it's not saying you're a terrible player, but it is saying that your brain is not exactly functioning at the level that they not even close to the level that they want it to be at to play quarterback in the NFL. So that's what everything has come out. And I know we went Stroud 1, Young 2 in the last one. So I like this is what I think is going to happen. I think Levis is going to the Houston Texans here.
Yeah, he's the favorite now. It's weird. He's the favorite
Mm-hmm.
to go 2 and 4. So interesting to see where he ends up. 3. So this is tough because I think they trade this,
Mm-hmm.
especially if the Texans go Will Levis. A lot of things I've read. I'm deep on Twitter. A lot of things I've read say that most teams think that Stroud and Richardson are better than Levis. But really, the only two teams that like Levis more are the Texans and the Colts, which happen to be the two and fourth pick. So I
Right.
think somebody trades up here, but since we won't do trades for this one, I'll have the Cardinals take Will Anderson. I think he's the best overall player on the board. Um, maybe you could say Jalen Carter is, but because of the character concerns, because of the overweight at his pro day, I think they go Will Anderson.
Yeah, I know. I think that's if Arizona stays at 3, which again, like we were saying, is unlikely. But if they do, I think they're Will Anderson's like a right in there. At 4 here. So like you said, they're high on Will Levis too. And this is a really interesting spot here because you could go Stroud here at 4. And everything we've seen has kind of been Richardson at 4 to the Colts or Levis because they don't think that Stroud's going to be available. Now that he is, I don't know what they're preferring here. I'm actually going to go away from Stroud again here, and I'm going to take Richardson. I think that
Okay.
schematically, I think he fits well with the Colts. I think the Colts kind of want to get into that, the RPO and really let Richardson hold on to the ball. And with a backfield of Richardson and Jonathan Taylor, I think it's really dangerous. But I don't know. This could get funky, and this is where it gets really funky in this draft. But so we are now at
Absolutely.
the 5th overall pick. Stroud's still on the board.
Oh, this is tough. This is tough. I think Stroud stays on the board here. I don't think the Seahawks go quarterback, even though I would want them to because of their they have they're kind of playing with house money with this 5th pick. because of the Russell Wilson trade. Gosh, this is tough. I would have gone Richardson here because I think he could have played behind Geno. I'm going to go Jalen Carter here. I think
Gotcha.
the talent's too good to pass up, and I think Pete Carroll's taken a swing on players with character problems before, and it's worked out. So I think they go
Yeah.
Jalen Carter.
Yeah, Pete Carroll's a great coach for somebody with character problems to play under because he's been there before and he's handled it very well before. Now I'm with my Lions at 6 here, and this is tough because if we're here at 6 and Stroud's on the board, I want to trade it, and I'm hoping there's teams calling.
I was gonna say you guys take him.
See, here Goff has been fine enough that I don't think you like, and we are in a position that like we can win the division now. So if you have a top 6 overall pick where you can get a Devin Witherspoon, a Christian Gonzalez, a Tyree Wilson, an impact player right now, I hate to think that they're going to say we're in a position where we can win right now, but we're going to take a rebuilding piece, right?
Yeah. So would you be fine just literally moving one pick back with the Raiders or moving down with the Titans for a 3
Absolutely.
this year and a 2 next year, something like that?
Absolutely. If we're gonna go from 6 to 11, if we're going from 6 to 7, I think we're probably getting like a 4th rounder next year, maybe, or maybe even a 4th rounder this year.
I mean, they're not going to take somebody
Right. Yeah, exactly. We're getting who we want still at 7. If we're going back to 11, I think that we're probably getting 2 to 3 mid-round picks. In that, I would love it. I would love it to go back to 11 because I think now I prefer to go to 7 probably because at 7 we can still get the guy that I really like here, and he's really far down on PFF. But Tyree Wilson, I love Tyree Wilson.
So far down on PFF.
PFF's weird, dude. They have some weird.
Dude, I've seen a bunch of mock drafts where Tyree Wilson goes 2 to the Texans.
Yeah, absolutely.
Crazy.
Yeah,
that's unbelievable.
He's really the only one that's really, really Brian Bresee maybe a little bit down here, but there's really not. He's really the only one that's got some weird rankings.
Van Ness is pretty low too.
Yeah, Van Ness is pretty low, but I have seen some with him going in the like early 20s, late teens.
Yeah, I've seen that.
But that's what I'm going to go with Tyree Wilson 6 here. If we were doing trades, I'd probably trade back to the either 7 or 11. But like I said,
yeah, I mean, over a 7-foot wingspan, he doesn't grow on trees. Somebody that big, somebody that fast.
Right.
He's not too old, so I like that pick for sure. So now for the Raiders, if I'm the Raiders, I run the card in with CJ Stroud in this scenario. I run it in. I mean, you have to take CJ Stroud here for sure.
Yep. Yeah, if like
CJ Stroud's there at 7, it's not really like we don't really need to get into it that much. But I mean, they need a quarterback after Jimmy G. He can sit for a year, watch Jimmy G. They can get out of the Jimmy G contract after a year, and then he fits the system really well too.
Yeah, absolutely. Here at 8 was kind of tough for the Falcons because the quarterback is not. You're not taking a quarterback here. Absolutely not. As a wide receiver, I think you're overpaying for really anybody you're getting here too. Maybe JSN you think is an appropriate time, but I think this is really early for him too. And as far as edge guys, there's not a ton left. You could go Nolan Smith, you could go Lucas Van Ness, but I think that's kind of early for them as well. I think you just go best player on the board, and I think here it's Witherspoon. I think Witherspoon he's kind of overtaken Gonzalez in my mind as the cornerback 1. I know the Illinois coach was talking about it, and he said that as the moments get bigger, Witherspoon talks more and more smack and gets better and better and better. And so that's a perfect trait that you want coming into the pros.
Yeah, I've been watching film, and I watched Devin Witherspoon, and I was thinking, all I've heard was, he can play man-to-man, he can press, he's really good at man coverage. Specifically, he is locked down. And that Illinois defense was really good. Mm-hmm. So I love Devin Witherspoon there. I think the Falcons for them, just real quick, is like they just need good players. I think that's just important to fill out the roster right now and to punt on not trading up for quarterback. Maybe they're bad enough next year with Ritter or Heineke, where maybe you could trade up to get Caleb Williams or Drake May, something like that next year.
Right. Their offense is in a position where they're probably going to be pretty rough this year, no matter what.
Yep.
And
Yep.
looking at what's there at 8, looking at these offensive pieces here, there's nobody offensively that's going to make you great right now. So I think like you said, you just need good players. Witherspoon's best on the board there. That's what I'm going with there at 8.
Yep, and I think this one is between two guys, Peter Skronsky and Paris Johnson Jr. It really could come down to whoever they like more.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of NFL circles think that Peter Skronsky is just a guard because of his arm length, that his arms are kind of short. So I'm going to go Paris Johnson Jr. here. I think the Bears need like a surefire left tackle, and I think that his feet are great, and I think that he could be pretty good.
His physical assets are absolutely wonderful as well, and he played with Fields a little bit at Ohio State. It wasn't much because it was 2 years ago, but it's a little bit of a connection there too.
Yep.
On the board now with the Eagles. Look, I'm going to make this one quick. You're getting the best offensive player, the best non-quarterback player in this draft, Bijan Robinson. I think that they don't even hesitate here. There's nobody above them that's going to take them. Maybe Atlanta, if Atlanta really loves them, but I don't think so. I think the Eagles are sitting at 10, just with the card probably written right now, Bijan Robinson, and they're thrilled to have him. He is stupid dynamic back that is going to make them really, really good.
He's going to make them really, really. He would make them unbelievable. Especially, this is kind of the last year with that elite O line, like the older guys, and he could. I mean, we saw Saquon in his rookie year. I mean, Bijan Robinson. I know this isn't fantasy, but he could be a top 5 fantasy back next year.
Absolutely,
with that O line for sure.
Yeah, and losing Miles Sanders, you need production, and this is perfect.
Yeah,
I think if they don't go Bijan here at 10, I think they have another one. Yeah, 30. I think that they're going to end up with him or Gibbs at 30 if they don't take him at 10, and I don't think he's going to be there at 30.
It's like really the only hole in their team.
Mm-hmm.
So
maybe a little bit of defensive back. Because they lost a decent amount.
They got Slay back. I mean,
right.
They're not like aching for it, but I do agree.
The need for running back, I think, is much more than the need for defensive back here.
100%, absolutely, I do agree. So Titans at 11. I think they're thrilled with this. Peter Skronsky, I'm gonna go with him. I think they take him over Smith-Njigba, just because I don't think they're ready to take Smith-Njigba yet. They don't have their quarterback set, and Peter Skronsky, whether he plays guard or tackle, I mean, it's kind of like Rashawn Slater, another Northwestern guy, where you're just like, they're going to be a good NFL player. So I think they're just taking a good NFL player.
Yeah, Penn State, Northwestern's coach was talking to Joel Klatt. I just listened to Joel Klatt today, and he told Joel Klatt, when Slater was going to the draft, Klatt was talking to him about Slater, and he said, I got another guy that's going to be, just as good as Slater in a couple of years. And so Joel Klatt's like, whoa, who is it? What's his name? And that was Peter Skronsky's freshman year. And since his freshman year, he's been just elite. So small arm Peter is going to be fine. I think he's going to be fine. But here at 12, the Houston Texans. So we have Will Levis added. I think this is a pretty quick pick too. I think it's JSN. That wide receiver room at Ohio State 2 years ago was stupid. And we've seen those 2 other ones be extremely productive in the NFL last year with Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson. And JSN was talked about as maybe the best wide receiver in that wide receiver room. So, you just wonder how good he can be. I think he's going to be wonderful in his NFL career.
Yeah, and I think that, I don't know if Will Levis starts right away, but whoever the quarterback is there next year, a lot of people have said, even Joel Klatt said, he thinks that Jackson Smith-Njigba could lead the league in receptions if he has the right quarterback. I definitely could see that. We saw what he did against Utah in the Rose Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's never been done before. So great talent. It's kind of crazy to me how NFL draft season is so crazy, because you go from the highs and the lows. A couple weeks ago, Will Levis, we didn't know if he was going to go in the first round. And now he's the favorite to go number 2 overall. So it's just it's kind of crazy, the buzz and the hype that some people get. But JSN, people were talking about him falling to the second because he didn't play this year. And then people were finally like, wait a minute. This dude was the best wide receiver in a room that had Garrett Wilson and Olave on it. And he might have been arguably better that year than Marvin Harrison. So let's not be dumb and let him fall that far. So I think you are right. I think the JSN kind of range starts at 12. I think that's kind of his ceiling.
I think it's the 12 to 16 range, and if it hits 16, not that Washington's going to take him. They might, but I don't think they will with McLaurin and Dotson there. But if it hits 16, someone's trading up for him.
Have to. Okay, so Jets at 13. We know what they need. They need a tackle.
Yep.
I am going to go Broderick Jones from Georgia. Great pass pro guy. You need good tackles because Mekhi Becton hasn't been very good. He's been hurt. You need good tackles when you trade for Aaron Rodgers.
Absolutely. And they have just ramped up talks again. I just saw that today. Which I think it's something we all expected.
So I saw the holdup was it's going to be a 2 this year because they have the 42nd and the 44th pick or 42 and 43, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be one of those. And then I think they wanted a condition. The Jets wanted to make it a conditional first next year in case Rodgers retired. And the Packers were like, no, we just like want the first, like no questions asked. So I think that was the holdup.
Okay. Yeah, I think we all knew it was coming.
Done. Yeah, I mean, it'll get done. I mean,
if he stays at Green Bay, he's not playing. He's burned that thing. He's burnt that bridge badly. He's burnt that bridge, rebuilt it, burns it again.
Both sides have burned it now.
Yeah. No, he's gone. But here with the Patriots here, I'm going to make this really simple. Darnell Wright, the tackle board. There's 4 of them in that elite echelon. Darnell Wright's the 4th one. Patriots are happy if they get any of the 4. And I think this is kind of ending the run on tackles here.
Yep. I could definitely see this playing out, just the run on tackles. And what is actually crazy to me in this mock, Christian Gonzalez might be a top 5 to 6 talent in this draft, and he's still here. But I don't think the Packers go with him here, which is so weird. I could see somebody trading up right now if Christian Gonzalez is on the board.
I could see Detroit doing it.
Absolutely. Or I could see the Steelers trading up, which would be awful for me as a Bengals fan. So this is a tough one because I've seen a lot of mocks that have Green Bay taking a tight end. I just don't believe they're going to take a tight end. I don't know why, but I just don't know if I can see that. Do you know what I mean? Or am I crazy there?
See, I am convinced they're going tight end personally.
Okay.
But however you feel, who do you think they're going with here? Do you think they're going like defensively with like Nolan Smith or like a Miles Murphy, or do you think they're still staying offense and going with like a Quentin Johnston or a Jordan Addison or something?
It's just tough because they're in a very weird spot here because they don't need a corner, and they don't really need. And Brian Branch plays nickel. I'm going to sit there. I'm going to take Nolan Smith for them.
Gotcha.
As an edge rusher.
Gotcha. That makes it really easy for me at 16. I know we were just talking about this. Yep. It's Christian Gonzalez. There's not much that needs to be said. He's a playmaker.
Yeah, I think the Commanders / football team / Washington football team. I think they would be ecstatic with that pick.
This is kind of what we were saying earlier with the Raiders as well. You're running this card up there, like you could have.
They're literally doing burpee broad jumps up there. I mean, they're like
that phone could be ringing off the hook and you just don't even answer it. You don't even care.
You turn on Do Not Disturb and you run that card out.
you turn on D&D, dude. So you're going with the 17 here.
Okay, 17 here. Sadly, I really, really like this prospect. Great bloodline. Obviously, we know Joey Porter, his dad, played for the Steelers. Cost the Bengals a playoff game, instigating Vontaze Burfict and Pac-Man in 2016, 2015 I'm not salty about it anymore, but I was for a long time.
Yeah, sounds like you've forgotten about it.
Yeah. I'll make it easy. Joey Porter here. Joey Porter Jr.
He's somebody that, as a Lions fan, I'm praying he's there at 18. So
yeah.
I think that with this is heartbreaking to see here as a Lions fan, this 16-17, because
Yeah.
we go defensive line at 6, and I have seen a lot of things that we want to trade back from 18. Brad Holmes has said his phones are open to trade back here. And again, like, we're not trading back in this, but this is a really interesting spot here because we've already taken Tyree Wilson here, so we've already helped the defensive line. Kalijah Cansey is a great prospect who I think could be really good in the league, but it's just I don't know if you want to go back-to-back defensive line. I think there's kind of a couple of positions that you could be thinking here. With Gonzalez and Porter gone, I think corner's kind of off the question. I don't think Banks is too high here. I'm bouncing between Cansey and Michael Mayer here because I do think the Lions do need a tight end. I'm going to take Cansey.
Okay, I like that. I like that. I think the Lions are in a spot now. If there's a corner not on the board, it's just best player available.
Mm-hmm.
So if they think that's Kincaid, if they think that's Cansey, Mayer, whoever, Miles Murphy, I don't know.
Yeah,
they could double up edge rusher. They shouldn't double up edge rusher, but who knows? We don't know.
Yeah, but I will say this is that if you have a defensive line in 3 years of Aiden Hutchinson, Tyree Wilson, Kalijah Cansey, and then James Houston in there, or
James Houston
there's
was very good last year.
Yes, like you have some really, really, really dangerous future prospects here. If you're Justin Fields, better get some protection because he's gonna be getting hit a lot in this division if he doesn't. But who are you going here? 19.
Yeah, this is a tough one too. The Bucs have so many holes, many holes. This is a tough one. Looking here, I think they got to take one of the tight ends, but how premium of a tight end is not a very premium position when you have so many holes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think what I'm going to do, they just cut their left tackle, Donovan Smith. I'm going to go Anton Harrison here. I've seen reports where he can only play right tackle, but I could also see them moving Tristan Wirfs over. I've read that as well. So I'll go Anton Harrison, and they'll transition Tristan Wirfs back to left tackle and have Anton Harrison play right tackle.
Got it. This is tough here for me at 22 because, Kincaid's fallen here a lot, and I think for Seattle here, there's a couple guys that you could go with, and the guy I'm going to go with is Lucas Van Ness. I think Kincaid's fallen a lot, and I think it's going to stop here soon. But I don't think Seattle's a team to stop that. I think Seattle needs defensive line, and they're thrilled to have Van Ness still there.
I love that. No, I really like that. Okay, so Chargers. I'm going to go the cliche route. I'm going to go one that I've seen a lot, but it makes a lot of sense. I'm going to go Zay Flowers to the Chargers. Makes sense to me. He fits their scheme. He's really quick. They need somebody to kind of play on the inside once Keenan Allen leaves. He's going to be a cheap guy for 4 to 5 years for Justin Herbert. So I like Zay Flowers there.
Yeah, this is where it gets a little interesting here too because, the Ravens don't need a tight end. The Vikings don't need a tight end. The Jaguars don't need a tight end. Like this tight end run could be really delayed if they don't go in this 15 to 19 range.
Absolutely. Yeah, they could fall.
Yeah, like big time. Which, I'm thrilled about because that just means the likelihood of Darnell Washington falling to Detroit at 48 is higher. Which I'd be thrilled if we got him at 48. But here we are with the Ravens. Though there's a couple out routes you could go here as well. They just got OBJ. So they have, a wide out receiver. I'm going to go Jordan Addison here. I think that there could be a couple. You could go Johnston here. You could go maybe some other routes. Deontay Banks you could go as well. But I think that right now they should be. Excuse me. Wow, they should be focused on making Lamar Jackson as happy as possible, and drafting a wide receiver is the way to keep him happy.
Yep. I think so too. I think that they need another wide receiver. And OBJ and Jordan Addison would be paired with Mark Andrews and J.K. Dobbins. You have Isaiah Likely there when they run a lot of two tight end sets. They could be pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, so Vikings, I think it's a pretty glaring hole. Deontay Banks is one of the most athletic corners that's come out of the draft in the last 20 years. His production's great. Deontay Banks, I think that's a pretty easy pick.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that a lot. This is where I'm gonna do something that's probably pretty. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I was thinking about going Kincaid, but I'm gonna take Branch here. I think that Branch fits a need. They have a severe secondary need, and he fits a lot of different holes at a time. There, he can play safety. He can play corner and in the nickel and whatever. So, I think Brian Branch to the Jags here is pretty likely here.
Yeah, no, I agree. I really like that pick. The Giants here is tough too, because this is tough. They need weapons, but I think they also need to improve their secondary. But the safeties here are kind of thin. I'm gonna make this probably a little easier. I'm just gonna have him take Quentin Johnson. I think they'll
Okay.
go Quentin Johnson. He's a consensus first round guy. It's weird. I think he's a consensus first round guy, but it fluctuates. I think some people think he's really good, and then some people don't think he's as good as the other three that have already gone.
Yeah, he's kind of funny. He'll catch a contested ball 40 yards downfield with the defender draped all over him, but he'll drop your bubble screen.
Mm-hmm.
So which you can fix the drops in the bubble screens. You can fix that. You can't teach somebody to catch contested balls that well, but I do think that's where he stops his fall there. This is where I am going to stop the fall of the Kincaid and Michael Mayer. It's whatever one you have the preference on. I have absolutely no clue which one the Cowboys prefer. I think they're both really similar. I think Mayer blocks a little bit better than Kincaid, but I'm going to go with Kincaid here at 26 to the Dallas Cowboys.
Yep, I love that pick. Their tight ends aren't bad, but they just lost Dalton Schultz, so I think they'd look to try to fill that. And think about it. I mean, you might be getting a top 10 to 15 talent just because of the positional value.
Yep.
At 26. So, okay, so we got the Bills at 27. This is a tough one because if I was them, I would immediately either take Michael Mayer or Jahmyr Gibbs. I think Jahmyr Gibbs makes this offense just unfreaking believable.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really tough to talk. I'm gonna go Jahmyr Gibbs. I think it might be a hot take that two running backs go in the first round, but dang, he would make their offense really good.
I do agree that it's probably a hot take, but I am also with you that Jahmyr Gibbs should be a first rounder.
Talent.
Yes, talent is talent, and running back is a position you can never have too many running backs. So if he gives you 3-4 years of elite play and then gets hurt, guess what? He's cheap. So
yeah, he's cheap, and that's their window. I mean, it's their window too. Their window is now. It's not like we're talking about the Falcons taking Bijan at 8 when their window is 3 to 4 years away anyway. Like they'd just be wasting Bijan.
Yeah.
It was kind of like the Giants when they took Saquon. It's like, yeah, he's a great player, but does he win you games? Probably not when your team's bad.
Yeah. So this is gonna be difficult. Here's Bengals are on the clock at 28. Their three top needs are the top three players here. Fortunately, the hard part is I don't know which one to choose. I know we talked earlier. A lot of drafts have Forbes going to the Bengals here. 28.
Bears here. I think even if Miles Murphy's here, it's a decision.
Yeah, I see. That's where I'm leaning right now, and that's actually the route I'm going to go. Is I'm going to take Michael Mayer because I think that like we said earlier, the positional value of this, Michael Mayer is possibly a top 12 player in this draft that you're getting at 28. I think if he does fall out of that 15 to 19 range, the likelihood that the Bengals end up with either him or Dalton Kincaid is really likely.
Yeah, No, I love that. I love that. Okay. So we got Saints on the clock. This is such a weird one because like all these teams at the bottom have no needs. Like the Bills really don't have any needs. The Bengals don't have any glaring needs, and neither do the Eagles or the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
But the Saints have a lot. It's like weird. It's like they're sandwiched in there. They have a ton of needs. I'm gonna go
Yes.
Miles Murphy here. Miles Murphy. I think Miles Murphy could go as high. I mean, you've seen Joel Klass. He has him at like 11, or
Mm-hmm.
sometimes he has him at like 8.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah.
Miles Murphy's another very polarizing prospect where he could either go 8 or 9 or 31.
Yes.
So I think it's same thing as Brian Brzee. Like I know we haven't talked
Mm-hmm.
about him a lot, but he could go mid 20s or he could go 38. It just you
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
But I like Miles Murphy there.
Yeah, no, I like that pick a lot. This is going to be an interesting one for me too because we already have gotten Bijan Robinson. And I think it's just best player on the board at this point. But I do think there's a couple people that can come into play here, come into factor here. And I think that O'Cyrus Torrence is going to be the pick here. I think that you have a lot of guys on that offensive line that are nearing the end. And O'Cyrus Torrence can maybe fit a need right now and also be a perfect mentor or be a mentoree under these guys, that elite offensive line.
Okay, so last pick. This is a tough one. I don't really know. I don't really know who they would go with here if the board fell like this because I see a lot of them going with. This is tough. Yeah, I just don't know if I like those guys at the bottom. It's tough because they cut Frank Clark, right? So they need an edge
Right.
rusher, but I don't know if Will McDonald really fits them.
Right.
I don't know if Uzama really fits them either. And Mozzie Smith is more of a 3 tech. So do you take a 3 tech in the like? Do you take like a run stopper in the first round? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay, so what I think I'm gonna do here, it's gonna be kind of a hot take. I'm gonna go Josh Downs
Okay.
uh, from from North Carolina. I really think that he could be pretty good in that offense. I know they took Sky Moore last year. I know they have a couple of receivers they like, young guys, but I think Josh Downs could be really good in that offense. I know they traded for Tony, but I'm not sold on Kadarius Tony yet. I'm just not.
No, I think wide receiver should be the position, but all of them are gone here. So it's kind of interesting to see what they do. They could just go best player on the board and end up with Emmanuel Forbes at 31 as well. But
Yeah.
this is going to be interesting. We might even do this again tomorrow, in all honesty, because this is just so fun to do. There's so many different outcomes. If we go with Stroud at 2, this entire draft changes. So this has been really fun. I don't have any more closing comments that we won't get into in the future. Do you or no?
No, I don't think so. I think that board looks, semi-realistic.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. So other than that, this has been the Sports Geeks podcast. They play, we talk. Thanks for watching, guys.